Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist, and welcome to Star Codes. This is a podcast where we look at an astrology numerology event coming up and give it meaning so we can utilize the cosmic energies for our highest good. And in this case, I love this episode because we are going to dive into Venus square Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics in astrology, and when they come together in any capacity, and in this case it is a square, which is 90 degrees, there is so much potential for raising your vibration. So in this case, they are meeting up on December 8th, and they actually will impact us. This connection will impact us for the rest of the week because it truly is being magnified by the numerology code. December 8th in 2022 adds up to a universal date of 17. And 17 is the immortality number. 17 reduces to 8 as well. So we have a double 8, infinity, strength, leadership, abundance, overcoming obstacles and gaining strength as a result. And then we have the number 17 of immortality, which is indicating you are leaving a legacy behind. So, by the way, this double single digit, in this case 8 and 8 pattern, continues throughout December. So it is a very potent, high vibrational month. It will bring a lot to the surface. So on this December 8th, 2022, we have the 17-8 universal date, Venus square Jupiter, which means it's going to last a long time. It's a powerful day to manifest prosperity and really understand you have internal, infinite resources for all the confidence, all the taking your control back energy that you would want. And that taking your control back theme continues throughout next year, 2023 as well. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that and the reason why. So you want to really take the lead around this time and really listen to your inner voice, your innate, your intuition, because you are being made aware that you are in complete control of every facet of your life. So the living of an abundant life in a visceral way is truly the experiencing of that vibration. To take an example, that vibration of abundance and courage in all its expressions within you. It is truly a decision you make to go and tap into that abundance frequency. And then all your decisions, your thoughts, your actions will flow from that conscious decision to feel it, to be immersed in it. So Venus square Jupiter means you're very open to new emotional experiences. You're more sensitive when it comes to just connecting to others. Venus governs our intimate relationships, our close relationships. And Jupiter brings that sense of expanded awareness, seeing beyond the horizon, not being myopic and judgmental, having the wisdom to really partake in a conversation without judgment. So your happiness and optimism are very much heightened at this time. Now, if you feel in any way bogged down when you're attending to bigger responsibilities, just refocus on the impact that whatever it is you're managing, doing, working on will ultimately have, right? So it's a wonderful transit for connecting to others and taking part in fun activities as well, pleasurable events, right? It is a time of the festive season, so this is a beautiful transit to have in December. What you want to guard against is over-the-top behavior, like overdoing things, because Jupiter expands everything and Venus loves pleasure. So if you do that and you're negligent or in any way just overeating, overdoing, overspending, watch that as well. So the frequencies to really engage with here are abundance and harmony and beauty, beautifying your life, and truly feeling those in your heart. Now, Jupiter makes a very, very important shift into Venus's sign of Taurus in 2023. So this is like a preview energy of that momentous event. And the reason it's so momentous is by virtue of moving into Taurus in 2023, Jupiter will align harmoniously with many other planets, slow-moving planets, and this will be really felt at that time. And of course, we're going to dive into all of that in the upcoming 2023 Ultimately forecast. That live stream actually takes place on December 14th, so you still have time to join. Just go to 2023forecast.com and watch a short video on 2023 and join me on the 14th of December for that 4-hour amazing event. So we are now going to look a little bit more at the square, because the square in astrology has gotten sort of, a bad connotation to it. And truly what a square is an activation of a battery. So if you put the 4 sides of a square together, they ground energy. It is the basis of a architectural home, and it is the basis of manifestation. We have 4 directions, we have 4 seasons. So it is truly connected to earthing things and making them real. So any square in astrology between planets is an activation, manifestation, invitation. Now, I'm going to take it a little further here, because the square also represents the cross. So if you think of the 4 sides and, up and down, so left and right, past and future, and then higher and lower, the horizontal arms represent the past and the future, or future past. So you want to bring those horizontal arms to your heart. In order for the cross not to be a cross of persecution, right, where separation, right and wrong, left paradigm, right paradigm, we always want to bring the 2 horizontal perspectives here so that you are living in neutrality. And the same about the above and the below. So one represents below the surface, the unseen, and the other represents above the surface. So we want to bring those together as well, right here in the same place, right? So this place is literally the meeting point of light, the meeting point of God. This is where love resides. This is where you don't live in separation. So your heart truly is that meeting point. And that's the cross within you. And you want to unify all the 4 sides of that cross and not hang yourself from the cross, which is what happens when you separate yourself from others and define them as either better or worse than you through judgment. That's how crucifixion happens, right? We crucify others or crucify ourselves. So the cross, right? So because we often separate ourselves into above or below, like better or worse, or we engage with the past and the future in a way that takes us out of the present, very few people actually know how to live in the present moment, which is here. You can only live in the present moment from your heart. Your heart does not know what time it is, doesn't see differences. It's where your soul resides. Your soul is colorblind. Your soul does not even partake in the definitions and judgments that we put on others. It just partakes in energy. So when we are wrapped in tomorrow or yesterday or what anyone else is doing, really taking us out of just what we are in control of, right? Taking your power back, and we focus on what others are doing, why does it matter? It doesn't matter one bit. In fact, it is draining us. And that's where now we are truly coming into a place where we really understand, we really viscerally experience that thoughts, what we think about, do create our reality. And emotions that we put to the thoughts generate manifestation. So thoughts create a reality, and adding emotion to the thought, fueling it with emotion, that manifests it. So you have put emotion, you have put feeling to a thought, and that identification through feeling puts energy in it, fuels it, right? Emotional, anything emotions, energy in motion is what emotion stands for, energy in motion. That energy then takes action, it manifests. Now, Jupiter represents higher wisdom, it represents learning. In astrology, it literally symbolizes higher places of learning, like universities or taking courses online, for example. So the wisdom that you receive, of course, you can study all you want. You can read books and take classes, but wisdom can only be achieved when you walk through the gateway of experience. That is truly what wisdom is. So we looked at the cross. So now let's take it a little further. Because your embodiment of God consciousness will bring you here, and we're not taught in our culture to trust, like who has been, well, there might be some schools, or certainly there are parents who would teach trust your intuition and all of that. But in terms of our educational system, we're just taught to operate from here for everything, memory and all of that. So the embodiment of this, of God consciousness, will, going back to the cross symbolism, put you in a place where you can be ridiculed, where you can be persecuted, where others will judge you, right? You'll be put in that space. And I'm using the word judgment as people giving a definition. So they define something as good or bad, but positive or negative, right or wrong. And so that will happen when you don't operate in that space. If you don't partake in the labeling and definition of everything and you stay neutral, there will be people who don't know how to literally relate to you, and so they have to define you in their mind as something that they don't want. So when we truly look at what judgment actually is, and this is really the real definition, the authentic definition of judgment, it means that everything comes full circle. So this is where we bring the cross and the circle together. So to live in this world, you come to a space in your consciousness where everything is neutral. And that's how everything comes full circle in every moment, where you don't label it, right? You don't give it definition. You don't go into either or me or you, or what I feel, what you feel, versus you feel, like versus positive, negative. Jupiter and Venus, by the way, are considered planets of positivity. And really what we should redefine them as planets that bring blessings. Blessings, we tend to label as positive. Again, we're defining the word blessings. However, blessings are neutral. And I'm sure you know that there are many blessings in disguise, where we would initially label the experience as negative, and then we look back and say that was a blessing in disguise. So blessings are truly neutral. So when you live in that world of neutrality versus the paradigm of right and wrong, you are keeping yourself in that space where there is no definition. And you can imagine what that will do when you now engage with others. You are staying in a place of non-judgment, no judgment, total neutrality. It doesn't mean that you can't feel sad. It doesn't mean that you can't feel angry, but you're not personalizing it. You're not adding emotional fuel to it. You are accepting it, you are stating it, but you are not being the anger and lashing out at others. You are just feeling it as something that is true to you, and you are being in integrity about the feeling, but you're not using it in a way that personalizes, and because the personalization of it will inevitably create a judgment. So it is truly to just experience what is and experience what is not. And there's no labeling of either. There's no labeling of or. And there's just immersing yourself in God consciousness. And this is a big topic that we're going to dive into in a very profound way in that 2023 Ultimate Yearly Forecast, which, by the way, it's my 9th edition of that forecast. And the reason is 2023 activates the number 23, which is called by the ancients the royal star of the lion, and it literally represents the strongest number in numerology. It is the number of confidence, of taking your power back. The lion, the king of the animal kingdom, right? So the royal star of the lion next year merges with the number 7 because 2023 adds up to a 7 universal year, and 7 is the number of bringing heaven to earth. So not separating heaven from earth, which again, if you look at our religions, they separate. They say, okay, you got to do good in order to reach heaven, right? That's a total separation. There is no such thing as heaven up there and hell down here. It truly is just you bringing heaven into your heart, because that's where it resides. So we're going to dive into that very deeply, the spiritual number 7, why there's 7 days in the week, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just so beautiful. So to discover more about that Ultimate Yearly Forecast, go to 2023forecast.com and know there will be an instant access replay. If you can't make it on December 14th, you will get all the bonuses, all the handouts, and of course the live stream. So just know that, and go watch that video at 2023forecast.com and have an amazing Venus Jupiter week this week. It's so exciting, and lots of love. I will see you next week.